Hello there. Hi, how's it going? Today, I'm doing 10-minute podcast about getting intimidated by others or individual or and maybe in collective groups. You know what I mean? Like we get intimidated often by people. I wanted to talk about this topic because it's something that I struggle with, especially when I get a job. I get intimidated, really. I don't know why. Maybe I know why, actually. I know why I get intimidated. There's something about job when you don't know, when you feel useless, you feel a bit intimidated, I guess. I think that's what's coming from. So I guess I want to talk about this because it's something that personal, and I hope me talking about this will give you the permission also to see where you are in terms of getting intimidated, either by job or maybe people you hang out with. I know also, like, a person I hang out with, every time I hang out with them, I notice I get intimidated. I don't know why. It's his personality. Yeah, certain people have like this shit where they just love seeing get intimidated. Maybe it's the era we live in, where some people just love seeing people discomforted. It's a small percentage of people, I would say, but it's not everybody. But the more aware you are, I guess you can escape that environment. So that's why I wanted to talk about getting intimidated by others or groups or workplace, whatever it is you're in. I hope whatever I'm going to talk about helps you. And yes, okay. One thing. The first one says, stop worrying or thinking about what others think. I think the reason often why we get intimidated is because it's our own mind telling us that other people know what we're going through or what we're thinking. I notice that often. I think the more I'm growing, I feel often my mind plays trick on me, because I give my brain for so long a control to sort of think whatever it thinks. Now the more I'm growing, I'm becoming aware of, like, that's actually not right. What I'm thinking is not true. I'm becoming more conscious of how my brain functions now. So within that, I'm getting better in terms of getting intimidated by others. And I hope the question I'm gonna answer would help you as well. So the first one says, just stop worrying about what others thinks and what they say about you, even too often to your face. It's just a word. As long as they're not paying your bill, I think you'll be fine. I know it can feel sometimes you want to fucking punch them in their face based on how bossy they are, or just toxic shit they're saying. But it's not worth it. It's way better to be acknowledging of it and not giving a fuck about it. It's way much better than getting with conflict and all crazy shit. So the other one is not giving anybody, even your parent, the permission to be intimidated. I know we live in a society, as I said, people like to intimidate others, especially your workplace. Once you give them the permission, it's a wrap. They would love to constantly come intimidate you when they're not feeling good about themselves. So being aware of those can help, because you are your own person. No other person should cause you discomfort, and if they try it, you should stop them. I guess that's what number 2 is saying, from what I'm understanding. And the other thing I notice with intimidation is that certain of us are good people. Maybe we grew up in a religious community. Maybe people who raised us were going through like hard maybe they hated themselves, therefore they wanted to control us. Therefore they programmed us to function, to have fear toward them, because that's how they functioned. It's all like people who get intimidated. I think it's it's by nature. It's not by nature. It's programmed based on maybe the surrounding they grew up in, or the parent who raised them, or the foster parent who raised them. Whoever were in their life was maybe toxic, so therefore they were programmed to this point how to function the world. I know I wish they didn't do that, but I think most of the people who get intimidated by other people are programmed by their paradigm or environment they grew up in. Therefore, they had to pretend they love when people are intimidating them or whatever that is. So, yeah. Well, one thing I noticed that like when I worked at a Starbucks, certain people say, I say it myself, sorry, I'm sorry for like not even doing that. I think it's awesome to not do those things, to stop those things. You should say sorry when you do something terrible, but when you're not, you shouldn't be sorry to, if you haven't done anything. So yeah, not giving sorries always helps to not be intimidated, because there's zombies who are walking to hear you say sorry. Especially if you work in a food environment, people who work in those environment, their mood is constantly like swinging back and forth. And when they find somebody who gets intimidated, it's a wrap for them. They love that shit. So, but yeah, anyway, so yep, stop dramatically saying sorry to things that you haven't done. But yeah, okay, number 4 says, this is a good one. Remembering your values. I know this is gonna be, it might be hard when you get intimidated to remember your accomplishments. Often, to not feel intimidated is to remind yourself that nobody's better than you. You're not also better than anybody. Seeing things in the middle maybe would help. Also reminding yourself everything you have accomplished seems to help when intimidation is bothering your head. I know all of us are going through like some sort of hard life shit. So yeah, reminding yourself your accomplishment can be a bit relaxing, I guess. Oh, okay. The other thing, if you're struggling to know like when you're getting intimidated, I know this. Maybe it's this is just personal. I personally, maybe it's a religious thing. I grew up in as a Muslim. So one thing I noticed about being Muslim is like our voice. It's really like, maybe I'm snitching on Muslim people, but when you grew up in the religion, you don't raise your voice. So I think a lot of Americans here, though, they see that as like a signs of intimidation. When you're not speaking loud. So maybe being conscious of that, like if you're speaking softly, like maybe match their voice, I think. And the eye contact usually helps too. Don't speak quickly. Quickly speaking is a sign of getting intimidated. Also, fidgeting is a sign of intimidated. Also, when people are trying to put you in a defensive situation, avoid that. Like, don't let them make you defensive. Yeah, I think that's one thing I notice every time when somebody with like high energy is trying to make the other person discomforted, is they use like a forced voice and stuff. So yeah, I think that's all I have about intimidation. I hope I helped. I hope you liked what I said. If you didn't, that's okay. If you did, that's awesome. I think that's it. Do I have anything to say? I don't have anything to say. Ha ha ha. Hmm. Um. Oh yeah, yeah. I think the recently I heard a quote who's a lady, a beautiful lady who wrote Grey's Anatomy said something dope about intimidation. One of the things she says, don't give anybody the permission to intimidate you. You know what I mean? So yeah, like nobody deserves running over you and stuff. That shit is not cool. We live in like a time of chaos right now in terms of just living life itself is so crazy, and you shouldn't give anybody the comfort to disrespect you or to cause you discomfort. Anyway, I think the time is out. It's almost 11. Thank you for hearing me. You're beautiful. Have a lovely day.